Okay, it seems like the people logging in have slowed down, so I'm gonna start. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'll just double check. So this event for Design Lab is called Creating Diverse Persona Profile Images with AI Tools, and my name is Carolina Bartolo. And you can find me on most social media at Carolina Bartolo. So whether it's Twitter or now called X, or Instagram, you can find me on those platforms under at Caro DeBartolo if you're looking for me. And then let's see. There I am. Sorry, I should have been saying that on that screen. Hello and welcome. And a few notes before we start. Please stay on mute. There's probably dozens of people, if not hundreds of people, had signed up for this workshop. So if everyone's on mute and we can just use the chat, would be a little bit more organized. And then if you do have questions, please do go ahead and put them in the chat that is already open. If we have time, we'll do a little Q&A at the end. And again, that can, sorry, I got a notification that somebody wanted to take notes. So if we have time, we'll do Q&A at the end of the chat, in the chat and not in the Q&A feature, just so you know. And then this is a safe space, be mindful and respectful of other people's opinions. Oops. Next slide. And then, of course, this whole session is hosted by Design Lab, as many of you probably found out from Design Lab. It's an online educational organization focused on helping new and established designers with their careers in digital design. So if you're interested, please contact the admissions team if you're not already a student. So first thing I will mention is that in this session, I'm going to be teaching you about how to use Midjourney to create these persona profile images and or photographs, I should say, because usually you want a photograph and not just any old image. You could, if you had more of a provisional persona, you could use a more of a sketchy quality to your images. I learned that from Alan Cooper himself, the inventor of personas, that the more provisional or the less research is backing up your persona, you can use a more sketchy image, and the more concrete your persona is, the more you can use a more realistic image. So Midjourney is an AI image generation tool that works by way of Discord. So Midjourney, an interesting case for those of you who are studying user interface design and user experience design, Midjourney made the decision not to have a UI, but to just like get started by sort of riding on the back of Discord. So they built their whole platform inside of Discord. Now that's changing. They have a notification on their website that soon you'll be able to use sort of a web-based tool to generate images. But for now, if you want to use Midjourney, you have to also set up an account in Discord, which is a messaging app. So you set up an account in Discord, you join the Discord server, and then eventually they make you do a few, like maybe 20 images or so. They make you do on their public channels, but eventually you'll be able to have a private chat with your friend, the Midjourney bot. And so you can just use it like a chat. It's kind of like ChatGPT if you've used that, and you can talk to the Midjourney bot and tell it what you want. However, because it is a robot, you can't talk to it the same way that you talk to other people or even in ChatGPT where you can just start writing a message. You actually have to use commands. So it becomes a little bit of a learning curve because of that. And so people might have gotten a little confused by this whole thing because you have to have Discord and you have to, if everyone could stay on mute, that'd be great. So you have to use Discord. So here I am in Discord. I have joined the Midjourney. This is Midjourney's server. So Midjourney has a server and you can join that. Anybody can join. And then do a chat with this Midjourney bot. So the first thing I want to show you is like I had just yesterday evening, I started like writing a few prompts and getting a few images of different kinds of people that, I remembered from past students. Maybe they were looking for images like this and it was a little bit hard to find. A college student, an elderly person, who's exercising in the park, middle-aged woman reading a book, something like that, an animal lover or a person who owns a pet. things like that. So I tried a couple different prompts, some of which are examples of what not to do too. Although, it is something that you can also simply, play with and get to know as you make mistakes, just like iterating in design. You'll, try things and then you'll realize like, oh, that didn't work, and then you try something else. So the first thing I'm going to show you is that I would like you to type slash when you first start talking to the Midjourney bot. And what you'll see is that you have all these different kinds of commands that you can talk to the Midjourney bot about. And I'm going to ask you to do settings and then just press settings. And then you can see that you get this little response from the bot, and you can see all these different things. You can kind of leave them as is to get started and just see how they work for you. But what you want to turn on is this thing called remix mode. It's going to be very helpful in the future when you go to make refinements on your prompts and make refinements on your images. So turn on remix mode is the first step. Second step, I'm going to use the command called imagine. And so this is where I can put a prompt to say what kind of an image I would like. Let's see, I wrote something over here that I had used earlier, so I'm just going to put this one in. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to show you how to use imagine, and I'm going to show you how to use blend if we have time today. So imagine is going to be text to image based image making. And then blend is where you can put two or up to 5 images together to kind of blend them together and get a new prompt, a new image from those two. So in my opinion, the best prompts for the purposes of persona photo are clear descriptions of what you want, right? So you can use subjective words like a smart student or a hardworking dad or something like that, or even people have, put poems in there, anything. Like you can put a prompt in that's anything. But those more sort of subjective descriptions, they may or may not get you the results that you want. So better to describe what you want in clear visual terms, like I want someone with dark curly hair, I want them to be wearing a baseball cap or a crisp white dress, or someone of Indian descent, someone of Japanese descent, something like that. So you can say exactly what kind of person that you're looking for. And then if you want any other visual cues within the image, like for example, if it is a pet lover or it is a bookworm kind of person that you're looking for as your persona photo, then go ahead and put them in the environment. Maybe they're in the library, or maybe they're carrying a stack of books or something like that, playing a guitar or carrying a backpack, something like that. And then the other thing that you want to do is that you want to tell, because Midjourney can give you any kind of image, from a sketch to a photograph to a fantastical image to a painting, whatever. You want to tell it that you want to photograph too. So you want to be careful about making sure that it understands that you want to photograph and not a drawing. Okay, so let's give it a whirl. So here's a prompt I had used for some of those ones I had done some tests on. A close-up portrait photo of an intelligent young college student on campus. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Press return or send the message. And then you'll see the images start to develop. It gives you 4 images at a time, 4 to choose from. That's why they call it generative AI, right? It's like it generates multiple images that sort of in its imagination, it thinks it works, are appropriate for that prompt. And so here's where you'll start to see that the AI has biases, right? You see right away. So I say a portrait of an intelligent young college student. I did not say whether it's a male or a female. I did not say what ethnicity this person is. And what do I get is 4 white males, right? So I need to be more specific about what I visually want, right? So if I want someone that doesn't look like average white male, then I have to be a little bit more specific. So there's a couple things I could do. I can just say slash and imagine again, oops, and write a new prompt, or deleting that. I can also rerun this. So once you have your first images after you send a prompt, you have these buttons below each image. And you know it's not done yet if you don't see the buttons, so it might still be processed. Sometimes it looks like it's it's done, but it's not quite done yet. And once you see the buttons, you know the image has been created. So these U's, U1, 2, 3, 4, goes for, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4. This would be upscale. So if I take a look at this, I click it, make it a little bit bigger, and say I did say, oh, okay, that's great. I like image number 2. That'd be great for my persona photo. Let's upscale it. So I can just click upscale, and then it will give me a larger version of that image. If, by contrast, I think that, okay, image number 2 is pretty good, but I don't want this person to be a white male, I want it to be something else, I can do a version of that. And because I turned my remix on, I can click V. So V stands for versioning, version of any one of these. And I can version this, and then it will give me this little area where I can then change. So I would tell it in young college woman of, let's say, Japanese descent on campus. And let's give that a whirl and see what happens. The other thing, of course, that I can do is if I want more variations, this will give me variations on image number 2. So the person will probably be in a very similar background with a similar clothing on. But if I want to just rerun the entire thing, this button here is called reroll. So I can click reroll. Once again, I will get another opportunity to change my prompt, and we'll try another one. So we'll take out the word intelligent because that does not a very visual term, right? Let's see, and let's say instead of young, let's say a 35-year-old law student on campus. I like the backpack and glasses, for example. And I have a close-up portrait photo. Okay, I think I'll keep that. You can even put more things about like with bright lighting. You know, you can tell it what kind of thing you're looking for. Midjourney is actually really specific about photography. So if you even know anything more about photography, for example, if you know about film stocks or cameras or lenses or f-stops and things like that, you can put those kinds of things into your prompts as well. And it's pretty, it was trained on those prompts. So there's my upscaled image, the one I did. Here's the one that I added. You can see how the clothing is very similar to that second image that came along. She sometimes doesn't have a backpack on, so well, I don't think so. I don't think this one does, but this one does. I guess it's just black on black. There's getting a little bit better, in my opinion. And then here's a 35-year-old law student. Once again, I didn't tell it whether I wanted male or female or any ethnicity, so it tends to lean, there's its AI bias, it leans toward white males. So that's a problem. So you'll quickly learn that if you don't want white males, that you have to tell it not to give you a white male. So anyway, you can see this one. So. And so let's try one of these Japanese ones. I like the ones that look a little bit more photographic for one thing, because I think that's appropriate for persona photos. And also looks a little bit more casual. One thing that sometimes you have to say when you do ask for a woman, because there are so many people using this tool in order to make like images of sexy girls. Sometimes you have to add a little thing at the end of your prompt, and that's called a parameter at the end. And you can type hyphen hyphen and then no. And I usually put no sexy. So I don't want it to be a sexy girl. I just want it to be an ordinary person. And so I'll do an upscale of number 2 on here, which I think looks like a pretty good photograph. It does look a little bit fake. So here's another idea. I can do variations on this, and I can add a word to my prompt. For example, sometimes this works. I use the word vintage. And it looks a little bit more like a real quote unquote photograph when you do that. The other thing, of course, is that right now the default in Midjourney is for all images to come back to you as squares. If you do not like a 1-to-1 aspect ratio, you can change the aspect ratio a couple different ways. One is that if I like this image, but I would like to see more of her body, for example, I can do a pan down. So I can use these arrows here and I can pan down. And when I do that, I'll just keep the prompt the same. When I pan down, I will get an image that's, I think, proportion 2 by 3. So it's more of a portrait format that way. And then here's a remix with the word vintage in it. It's got a little too old looking, I think. I don't think we want an image that looks that old. Here's another idea is to use like use a prompt that has something more like um, a film stock in it. I think I'm gonna try this one. Let's see, I'll do very subtle. So there's two kinds of variants. You can either vary this image subtly or vary this image strongly. You can also vary a region of the image. I can show you that in a moment. But let's do a subtle variation. And I'm going to add this film stock, which is, more of a film rather than a digital photo. So we'll see if we get any better on there. And then this one is the one where oops, it's interesting. It panned down, but it didn't leave the top of the image. I never saw it do that before. Usually it shows you the whole image. Anyway, so not sure what happened on that one. Also, I'll show you how to use blend. Just so, for example, if I got this image and I liked it, I can save it to my desktop for a moment here. And then let's see how these guys are coming out. Maybe one of these would be good. Or maybe I could combine it with one of these. Let's see. That's upscale number 1. Okay, and then the other command I was going to show you guys how to use today is called blend. And it defaults to 2 images, but you can upload up to 5, I mean. And so upload this one, which was one of the ones we made, and this one of the ones we made. And you can see how they're at slightly different angles. I could upload more. If I wanted someone that was, for example, of mixed ethnicity, for example, I could put images of 2 different ethnicities and it'll kind of combine them. So you can give it a shot and try to get something that you like. There's the blend, and blend will give us 4 images again of those 2 images combined with each other. And then you can see how this one, it gave us variations with that. This was the one where I added the Kodak Ektachrome in it, so it looks a little bit more like a film photography, I think, or it should. But yeah, I like how these are getting more casual looking, a little bit more like a snapshot, like she hasn't been, made up and posed for a professional photo shoot. So I like that. So you can see how it's kind of combining the clothing on the 2 images on this one. This one, something weird happened to the skin. The skin looks really, really white. So again, you can put skin tone in there. You can say you want pale skin or you want medium tone skin or dark skin. So you can use Midjourney to get anything that you like. And you can also, if you're doing guys, you can say you want facial hair. You could say you wanted tattoos. You could say, also you can give it commands about what kind of a shot you might like to do. So for example, you could do an eye level shot, which is most typical for something like this. Eye level, medium, close up, portrait of a man looking at the camera while practicing qigong. Mm, yeah. And I will say, I like to put an age in here, mid 40s. Try that, see what it gives us. Also, if you want to get something like fancy, you can even give it a photographer's name in your prompt, or like a film direct, like a Wes Anderson look or something like that. So you can try anything you like, there's no harm in giving it a shot and see what happens. This guy's not practicing Qigong, it doesn't look like there. But, the other thing I will show you is, while that's building the image there, I can put this in the chat, a list of all the different commands that you can use. Of course, if you just type slash in your Discord chat, you will be able to see all these, but this kind of gives you a description of what they do. And then the other one is the parameters. So these are the things you can put at the end. So the slash is at the beginning, a command, and then the parameter is at the end. So after you finish your prompt, you can put that hyphen no if something you want to make sure you leave out. So no bright colors, or no professional makeup, something like that. I don't know. So you can change your parameters to try to get something that you like better. So it kind of gave me the Qigong clothing without the Qigong activity. So, but yeah, you can get something like that for yourself. Prompt has a typo. Yes, I've gotten really good results with typos, actually. So anyway, but yeah, I probably do have a typo in there because I was just typing as I went along. Did I type something wrong in that one? I don't know what order or what I mistyped on that one. But in any case, yeah, you don't have to worry too much because the bot kind of seems to just make sense of things. And if I've misspelled things and then reused the prompt and copy pasted it. So it's crazy. It's an AI, so it does some unusual things. Oh, and I wanted to give you the list of the parameters reference to. I don't think I posted that one yet. I posted the commands, and here's the parameters for you. So those are good pages to bookmark and refer back to for all kinds of things, because you can certainly do a lot more than what I've shown you today. By the way, if I do want to control my image aspect ratio, if I don't want a square, what I would do is imagine a college student with a backpack, say a Latino college student with a backpack, book, and then I can say no hoodies. For example, I don't know, like college students usually wear hoodies maybe, and they might give me too many hoodies. And I could also say like, the other one it gave me was a scarf, so no scarf. I could say in a warm climate on campus. So it tends to think that a campus is always like Boston cold. Right. So it does sort of default to like these kind of conventional ideas of what things are. So if you say campus, it kind of defaults to like a East Coast cold climate kind of thing. So anyway, there's another prompt for you. This one I didn't mention that it was supposed to be a photograph. I forgot to mention that it should be a close-up, et cetera, et cetera. But if it works, it works. And you can always zoom in. Once you upscale the image, you can upscale it again. Once I have upscaled a single image, you can see how also I can zoom out. I can upscale it by two times size, by 4 times size, et cetera. And I can zoom out by 2 times or 1.5. So it will give you student in a bigger amount of background. So you can have a lot of controls over the image. Once you get something that you think you like, you can actually keep playing with it. So let's see here. Oh, I don't know what it was thinking here, but it gave me some students with no shirts on there. But I guess because he was supposed to be in a warm climate, these are not usable. The other one that is really handy for when you use a terrible prompt and you get a terrible result is that you can respond to a prompt, whoops, with an emoji. And you can see how often I use this is I can respond with an X, and it just goes away. So if you put a reaction to a prompt that you don't, a result that you don't like, it'll just take it off your feed, so you can just get rid of it because it didn't work for you. Okay, so let's see. Questions, instructions on how to get started with Discord and Midjourney. Yes, that's there. And yeah, I think, yeah, maybe $8 a month. I don't know if they have any free trials anymore. They had so much interest that they stopped doing free trials at one point. So let's see. Any other questions? A direct link to the server of Midjourney bot. Let's see if I go to their server. I think there is a way to say join the server over here. But essentially, you just want to join. Is there a pin message? No. Getting started. Rules. I do not see that, but there are maybe on their Twitter feed it'll have a link to just join the Midjourney server. So sorry, I didn't have that. Any other questions? Thank you guys for coming. Let's see, once I found my persona, can I create a series of different situations and angles of this person? You could if you can figure out the right prompts, to ask. So what I would do is now that since you have the remix on, if you say, okay, here's my image of this person. And can I make variations? Maybe I just want subtle variations. So I want to keep the same person and I can change what she's doing and stuff. It won't be a perfect likeness every time. It's gonna keep giving you a Japanese woman, and as long as it's a subtle variation, it probably should be pretty similar, but might not be exactly like as if it really was the same person getting their photograph taken, doing different things. So it is hard to get that consistently with Midjourney that way. But yeah, you can definitely make edits, and you can, as I mentioned, you can vary a region. So say, for example, I didn't like some part of this image. And I don't know what part of this image I might not like, but let's say, for example, I can use a box, right? So I can use a square and just like get a new face in this person, for example. Or I can actually get more granular and I can say, well, I just want like a different, shirt on her or something. So I'll try to get this area down here selected and just try to give myself like a different area of her shirt or her clothing that I want to be revised, try again, kind of thing. So you can customize your image that way. Let's see. Is there a way to make edits to an image that exists already, like how we upload with Blend, but use prompts for something new? Yeah, with your Blend, you can actually add things to the prompt. I find the best way, Blend, for me, when I usually use Blend, what I do is I blend the two images and then I figure out if I want to change the prompt from there. But sometimes you can add extra things, especially like the hyphen hyphen no something, when you're putting two images together and you want to say, don't look at that part of the image. So you can definitely use the no on that one. So yeah, you can add prompts into your blend. Let's see. What's the advantage of using AI generated personas instead of the one from Photoshop? Well, just because you tend to see the same images over and over in everybody's portfolio, and also because there doesn't tend to be as many images in stock photography of lots of different ethnicities and lots of different ethnicities in certain situations that you might like. Like, yes, they're holding a pet, or they're holding a book, or they're in a library, or they're taking a jog. So whatever you might like to have, you have a little bit more control over it when you use an AI, and it won't look like everybody else's portfolio. And it's yet another skill to add to your, skill set for going out in the world and getting a job, because I think everybody's going to have some skills being able to image generate with AI one of these days. So what are the rules and laws around using Midjourney images for things like personas and portfolio images? As far as I know, they are copyright free, or maybe Midjourney owns some of them or something. I'm not really sure. I think it's all a little up in the air right now, as far as people don't know exactly what the copyrights are with regards to AI right now. But for now, I think you're safe to use them without any troubles, especially portfolio. I mean, it's not like you're making money. It's different if you actually earn money off of somebody else's image. But this is, I mean, if you prompted it, then I think it's yours. So, all right, well, we are 1 minute over, and I will call it a day for you guys. And thank you so much for attending. And I hope you give it a shot and let me know how it goes. If you find me on social, you can send me a note. And hopefully we'll meet again someday in one of my other workshops. Or maybe if you're studying at Design Lab, I can be your mentor. All right. Take care. Bye bye, everyone.